Afternoon.
Afternoon, Steve. You well?
Yeah, got you. You need to speak up a little bit.
Are you well?
Got you now.
Hey folks, first question.
Steve, can we just ask the how John is after his positive COVID test?
It's fine. No symptoms. So hopefully, obviously he's got to isolate for a few days now. So we'll keep an eye on him. We'll look after him as we do everybody, and hopefully it stops there.
I know the rest of the squad have been retested and are negative. How much of a concern is it though that John has returned this positive test?
Well, looking at the information that we've got and relying on the doctors for the medical opinion, 9% sure that John brought it into the camp. It came with him, so it's just one of those things. We know the state of the world at the moment with the pandemic, and we just have to deal with it as other countries might have to deal with it as well.
Just in terms of the two friendlies we have, he's obviously not going to take part tomorrow. Can you give us a timeline in terms of his duration and how and when he will meet up with the squad next?
Sorry, I don't quite understand that question.
Just in terms of
John, he'll be in isolation until he returns a couple of negative tests. I think that's I'm not quite sure what the guidelines are in Spain in terms of days that he would have to isolate, but we'll be testing every day with John and waiting for him to return a few negative tests. For everyone else, it's just carry on as normal and continue the good work. The thing I don't want to do is I don't want this isolated case to sort of overshadow the good work that we've done. We've had good preparation. The training's been fantastic. The boys are in a great place, and we're looking forward to the game tomorrow night.
Just finally from me on this, sorry guys, is it just another reminder of how stringent you will have to be, not only in Spain, but across this entire tournament with living with COVID-19, and as we all are?
Yeah, but I think we have that day to day. Everyone has that day to day in their own personal lives. We all want to avoid the virus as much as we can, and it's no different within the camp.
Steve, are you working on the basis that when it comes to the games, you'll have a plan A, a plan B, a plan C in case this kind of thing crops up during the tournament?
Yeah, I think we might even need to go beyond plan C. It's just to keep everything in perspective. You know, it's important, like I said before, that we think about what we've done in training, the things that we've worked on. We try to take that into the first friendly game, and we have to be a little bit reactive to certain situations, but there's no point in stressing about it. There's certain situations that you can't control, so if you can't control them, I've always been told, try and look after what you can control, and we can control the lads in training, preparation for the matches, and hopefully a good performance tomorrow night against the Dutch. What
was the thinking about these two teams in particular as opponents? Because I guess you want to strike a balance in these warm-up games, and you want to build morale, but also you want to make sure you don't go into a tournament undercooked.
No, we wanted one game that would challenge us, and certainly the Dutch game will challenge us. The Luxembourg game will challenge us in a different way. The way the Dutch play is not dissimilar to the style of play that certainly England and maybe a little bit Croatia will play as pot one or number one seeded teams. So should be a good workout for us in terms of the friendly, and a good workout for us in terms of the games coming up in the tournament.
Just finally from me, I just wonder what you made of Scott McTominay's performance in the Europa League final, and whether that's given you more food for thought about where you deploy him in the Euros.
First of all, I thought if there was one player on the pitch that didn't deserve to be on the losing team, it was Scott McTominay. Outstanding. He's had a few days break now. He'll join up with the squad when we get to Portugal, him and Billy Gilmour. And it'll be good to get them on board In terms of thoughts for the tournament, is Scott's performance in midfield for Man United didn't surprise me. It didn't really change the way I think about Scott as a player. I know he can play as one of the central defenders if we need. He's proved that. And I know also that he can be a fantastic player for us in midfield. So what a good player to have in your squad.
Steve,
I think the Czechs...
The excitement and enthusiasm in the squad kind of building since you met up last week, and then with this game tomorrow night, is it just another step towards the realisation of what lies ahead in a week or so's time?
Yeah, just slowly getting towards where we all want to be, which is the first game in the tournament. So it's just a process. We're just working towards there. Like you say, good feeling in the camp. Obviously, a little bit of deflation when you get the news about John. Everybody feels that a little bit, but it's come early enough, and it shouldn't affect our preparation too much.
And in terms of these games coming up, is it a balancing act for you between giving people game time, but also working on that plan for the Euros, and not just giving certain players time so they've had time on the pitch?
I'm actually happy with in terms of preparation for the Euros. I'm just as happy with the time I get on the train, working with the players, because you down one or two little things that maybe you can look at in the games. All the players for all the positions, hopefully, whether they're playing the friendly games or not, will understand their role within the team. That's what we use these pre-camps for, is to make sure that everyone's ready. And hopefully most of them, if not all of them, will get at least some minutes in the two friendly games, which will stand them in good stead for the tournament.
Steve, the Czechs and the Croats have moved, or rather staying at home, rather than coming to Scotland for preparation camps. Does that open any possibilities up for you in terms of being based in Scotland, or did you always think that you wanted to go to the north of England just to get away from kind of Scotland and all the hype and all that kind of stuff?
No, I think that decision was sort of taken out of our hands, because the Czechs and the Croats had the best bases tied up in Scotland. So we've done our preparation. We're tied into the deal at Rockcliffe in the Middlesbrough training ground, and we're absolutely delighted with the facilities there, and we look forward to both being in the hotel and using the fantastic facilities at Middlesbrough.
And you think that can even maybe advantage you, just being that wee bit removed?
I don't know, is the honest answer to that one. It will certainly take us away a little bit from the spot. It will certainly take us away a little bit from the spotlight that might have been on us if we'd stayed in Scotland. Maybe people wanting to be in and around the squad a little bit. Hopefully, it'll be a little bit quieter in the northeast of England.
The spotlight, I think, is on the trophy today. I think it's been taken around schools and stuff in Glasgow. The closer we get, does your kind of excitement levels raise, and the kind of the hope and the expectation that's back here, I suppose, of a good tournament for Scotland?
No, I think it's fantastic. One of the benefits is that you get the trophy going around the schools. All the young kids can see it. They'll get excited. Hopefully, they'll get even more involved in football than they might have been in the future. We get more good people, or good young boys and girls, hopefully, all wanting to take part in football and make the country stronger in the future. For us in camp is to be professional, to prepare for the game. The excitement of the tournament will take care of itself once we get into the games, and the magnitude and the level and all the hype that goes with it. We'll know we're in a big tournament, and it's great. It's great for everybody to have that to look forward to.
Steve, how amazing was it for you to see a Scot and indeed a fellow Ayrshire get his hands on the European Cup?
I only caught the end of that, but I think you're asking me, am I happy for Billy? Yeah, I'm delighted for him, and also delighted for my old club. People forget I spent a lot of time at that club, so it was great to see them win the trophy again. I thought they were good on the night. I'd like to see Billy get 5 minutes on the pitch, but that wasn't to be. Listen, great experience for him. I'm sure he enjoyed his time there. Spoke to him on the phone the other day. He seemed quite happy. A couple of days back in London, then he's flying out to Portugal to meet up with the team, and he's really excited and looking forward to being with us, as we are looking forward to working with Billy.
Steve, with Billy joining up with the squad in Portugal, when you bring him in, and then Nathan Patterson and David Turnbull, you've worked with a lot of the players for 2 years now. How much does that, young, fresh energy help the group?
I think it's good. Like I said earlier on, the intensity, the work, the quality in the training session has been really good, and I think that comes with 1 or 2 new faces coming in, and the lads realising that always a certainty that you're going to get picked for Scotland. You have to work for it. You have to do well for your club. You have to do well when you are picked for the country. You have to come here. You have to work hard every day. So nice to freshen the squad up.
You've just we spoke.
Sounds like silence to me.
Well, Steve, we saw Ian Maxwell talking about your contract situation yesterday. I mean, how much a sort of bonus for you that you've already got the chief executive of the SFA sort of looking to sort of tie you down for longer? He's so impressed with the job that you've been doing.
I haven't even seen that one, to be honest. I've got to be honest, I haven't seen that one. Not sure where that came out. If Ian's thinking that way, then that's nice. But it's not about me. It's about the country and about the team doing well at the Euros.
Steve, this is a long
Thank you.
camp. So I was just going to ask you one thing, Steve. This is a long camp. When the squad is not on the training pitch, what is it you're looking for in their behaviour when you're looking at individuals?
I want them to behave well, as you would expect. Listen, there's plenty to do here on campus. I've seen 1 or 2 down, chipping a few balls on the driving range. We did have a team golf day the other day. There's a swimming pool, there's tennis courts. There's lots to do. So you just want them to mingle, obviously not too closely because of the COVID situation, but to enjoy each other's company, feel comfortable in the group, and be ready to support each other through a long tournament.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Take care.
Cheers, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Andy, is the news regarding John Fleck kind of, if you were already aware about it, sort of heightened your, I guess, caution ahead of the Euros that anyone could be tested positive at any time?
Yeah, of course it has. Of course, if you ever need any reminder that this virus is still here, then it's that. Obviously disappointment for Flecky being positive and having to stay in his room. But, I suppose the only lucky thing is, the 2 doctors, Graham Jones, the performances followed every protocol, and it means that, there's no, close contacts, there's no, there's no other positive tests from the 3 rounds of testing we've done since then. And, in a bad situation, you can take some positives. So we'll take it. Flecky will be obviously ready when he gives a negative test, and luckily it's happened soon enough that he won't miss out in the Euros. But it just means we need to be even more careful the closer it gets, and the boys are already switched on to it, but we just need to be extra careful now and make sure we get no other positive tests.
You and the players have been living under these precautions and restrictions for 15 months. You've been working under them, so you're used to it. How difficult is it to block it out, though, when something like this happens and you've got such a huge event ahead of you?
Look, of course, it's it's something that's always in the back of your mind, because as a young, fit, healthy player, Flecky, as far as I'm aware, hasn't shown any symptoms, and it's a tough virus to say you're staying in your room for 10 days when he probably feels quite healthy. But that is this virus, unfortunately, and it doesn't affect some people, but others it can be. We've seen the death toll, and we've seen how many people have been infected. So it's so important that we take it as serious as we have done, and even heighten that caution even more the closer it gets, because we don't want anyone missing out for something that can hopefully be avoided. When we're in our bubble, it can be, and hopefully we have no more positive tests. Like I said, the 3 rounds of the testing since then has been a confidence booster that there's no other positives, but we can't take that for granted. We need to keep going the way we are, and like I said, Flecky will come back into the squad as soon as he's negative, and then hopefully that's us finished for this Euro campaign.
Finally, for me, just wondered how you're coping with camp life, because you're used to seeing these boys for short spells. Are you prepared for weeks upon weeks living alongside them?
Yeah, of course I am. Look, that's the beauty of this. It'll be the longest camp we've ever had, but that's what we were striving towards. We wanted to be in, a major tournament. That's what comes. I'm not sure if John McGinn will run out of stories or not. He's not done it so far. 5 days solid of new stories every day, but let's see how he gets on when it's maybe week 3 or 4. So, we've challenged him for it. So let's see. But look, so far so good. The camp's been excellent. Obviously, apart from the positive test, but we've done it really well. Trained hard. There's been good training, some downtime, and we've got the balance right. But it's all working towards that. The big game on the 14th, and we'll be ready to hit the ground running, hopefully.
Andy, do you feel the excitement kind of building every day in the squad at the moment as you work towards these friendlies and then the start of the tournament?
Of course, I think the day we met up, the excitement was there. You could see everyone. I think it was the reality kicking in that, okay, it's here, it's now. Instead of just talking about it, or instead of, it's in a couple of months or whatever, it's now here. And, it's exciting to be a Scotland player. Once the squad got announced, you knew you were in the squad, and we all meet up. It's an exciting time, and it'll just tighten, it'll get stronger and stronger as the days go on. And the closer you get to that first game, the lads will be ready. And of course, it's exciting for us, but we need to be able to control that throughout the tournament. And hopefully we can put up a good fight, which I believe we will. And if anything of the last 4 or 5 days have went, the lads are looking well, confident, sharp, and we need to take that into the games that we're playing, starting with the 2 friendlies this week.
Yeah, how beneficial do you think these friendlies are going to be for you all?
Yeah, look, some of the players haven't played in 4 weeks. Some of them haven't played in 2 weeks. The Premier League players have only not played for a week. So we're all at different stages, but it's important to get games together. It's important to work what we're going to do, and playing against one of the favourites for the tournament, Holland, isn't going to be easy. But you want to test yourself against the best, and that's what we're doing. And then on our way home, we stop off to Luxembourg, which will be a different challenge, a tough one. A good team, and it'll be a different challenge in every sense. So 2 good games to have, and then that will get us going and really close to the kick-off against Czech Republic. So really important week coming up, and then we go full steam ahead into the group stages.
This Dutch game particularly important, Andy, given the level of the Dutch. Is this first friendly particularly useful and particularly important given the level of opponent going into the big matches in a few weeks' time?
Yeah, look, the three teams that are in our group are incredibly tough games in different ways, and to prepare for them, the Holland game's perfect. A fantastic nation with world-class players, and like I said, we want to test ourselves against the best. So it's a good warm-up game. Hopefully, it's a good warm-up game for them as well, and we can play well. The last 4 or 5 days have been really good, and it's about taking what we've done into training into these games. And if we do that, then I believe we'll get closer to where we need to be for the tournament starting. And like I said, Luxembourg will be a different game for different things. Maybe a bit more possession of the ball than we will against Holland, but both really good games to have. And like I said, it will stand us in good stead for the three big ones, because everything we're doing just now is working towards the three games. Of course it is. The next two are friendlies, but the real fun starts the following week.
And how do you feel yourself leading the team in these friendlies as the countdown keeps going and you get ever closer to these huge matches, this huge tournament? Yeah, look, I've always spoke about it. For me, it's a massive honour being captain of this country, but it's an even bigger honour because I know how good these boys are in terms of off the pitch and on the pitch, and it's an honour to be able to lead them out. And that's always going to be the biggest honour for this squad, because being the captain of the country is good enough, but when you've got so many good boys in this squad, so many good players but good people as well, then being able to lead them out and walk out in front of them is always a huge honour. And the closer it gets, the more I'll think about it. But being captain in any game for me is a huge honour, and tomorrow will be that against Holland. But obviously when the big tournament's coming in, we've not been there for a long time. You want to be able to be there, but I'll think about that closer to the time. You talked about John McGinn's stories. Presumably you've told a few about that overhead kick winner that you scored in the football tennis the other day. Have you been boring everyone with that for a wee while? Yeah, luckily I didn't do my back after it. I was happy I got up in one piece. So I think I got a bit excited in head tennis, but luckily it hit the white line and it was in. But I won't be telling stories about that. I think McGinn trumps me with his overhead kick in the last camp, so he definitely trumps me on that one.
Andy, this will be your first look at David Turnbull and Nathan Patterson up close. What have you made of the two new boys to the squad?
Both of them have been excellent. Really good. Off the park as well as on. You could, if you walked into the camp, you would think they've been here for years. Slotted in really well. David's obviously got the Celtic boys to kind of fall back on, and maybe a wee bit easier way in. But he's been talking to the other lads and been joining in. And Nathan, he's a confident lad. He's been talking away, getting to know the boys. We've been getting to know him. So both of them have settled in really well. We couldn't ask for much better. And in training, they've both been excellent. So, really good, really positive. Let's see if they get game time tomorrow. But both of them are, fantastic players. Still got a huge career ahead of them. But at the age of that and the clubs they're playing for, they're doing not too bad. And you can tell that both of them playing full of confidence. No fear, and that's exactly what we need in this squad. And both of them have been, a credit to themselves so far.
Andy, we waited over a decade to get a Scottish player winning the European Cup. Then two come along at once. How will Billy Gilmour be feeling?
I hope he's on top of the world. I hope is incredible, especially for at a young age. Billy's got, like the other two, he'll have a huge career ahead of him. Billy's a fantastic footballer. I've spoken to him a couple of times as well off the park, and he's a really, really good guy, and you can tell he plays with confidence on the park. And like I said, similar to the other two, no fear, confidence on the park, being able to take the ball in tight situations, and these are the players that you want about having the squad. So I think we'll get him over and Portugal, as far as I'm aware. So we'll meet him, and I think he'll settle into the squad so easily. I don't think he'll have any problems, and obviously we get Scotty over there as well, who's not had the week that he would have wanted. Obviously, he would have loved to have won the Europa League, and but he'll be ready to go. I thought he was the best player in the park in the Europa League final, and if he brings that play into the Scotland top, then I'm sure he'll put another man in match performances. So two really good players meeting up tonight, I think, and obviously Scotty's been about, and he doesn't need to settle in, but I don't think it'll take long for Billy to show his character in this squad.
Andy, have you been able to meet up with any? Have you been able to contact any of your?
Andy, you mentioned how easy it has been for the.
Sorry, could we just have one person speaking at a time?
Sorry,
Andy, I was just asking. It was so you're saying it was easy for the younger players to settle into the squad. The man.
Sorry, I'm not sure who's talking, but the audio's dropped there. Your connection isn't good.
Tennis courts, things are so.
Didn't catch any.
Sorry,
of that.
Jordan, we didn't catch any of that question there. The audio completely dropped. Does anybody else want to ask one final question?
just one quickly, Andy. Have you been in touch with any of your Liverpool teammates, Trent, Jordan, Gini Wijnaldum, or any of the others, or is that now off limits?
I'm not sure it's off limits yet. Spoke to Hendo last night. I think they're at the hotel that that we are going to be staying at for camp. So I was just telling him to make sure he doesn't mess up my room. So, but there'll come a time when I'm sure he'll lock off from my nonsense and I'll lock off from him. But I don't think just now. I'm obviously close to these players. Really we're a tight knit group at Liverpool, and they're really good friends. It'll obviously be good to catch up with Gini tomorrow with him, leaving the club, and it'll be good to, say a kind of final goodbye. Obviously keep in touch, but in person, and then, of course, when the tournament starts, then it's game time and it's focus on every game. But when you cross the white lines, of course, there's no friends. Look, we always say that, but after the game and before the game, these people I've achieved a lot with, and I've got a lot of thanking to do to some of them, and when you're friends, then you'll always stay friends, but when it's on the pitch, it's that gets put to one side for 90 minutes.
Thanks.
Jordan, can we just check if you're back? We'll take one last question from you.
Yeah, thanks. Can you hear me? Is that any better?
Yeah, that's better.
Aye, sorry.
Sorry, mate, you've gone again. We'll call it there.
Yeah, I was just asking how easy it's been for the younger players to settle into the squad. Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, guys.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.